Hey guys, I want to go through the directions for the drive free activity that you'll be working on in class on Tuesday while I'm out. The assignment itself is not due until Wednesday night by 11:59. You'll find the submission link in chapter 4 on Moodle. But I wanted to give you some directions because there are quite a few pieces and it can be a little confusing, especially since I'm not going to be there. I just wanted to provide you with some instructions, and I'm actually going to go through the entire form with examples of actual ads that I have found. So I'm just going to scroll quickly. You can see here are the ads that I found for the cars that I'll be using. I found these on Craigslist. I'm going to ask that you don't use my exact same ads or my exact same cars. I found these last week, so they may still be available, but be different, be original, find some different cars. So there are directions on the first page of this assignment. So I'm going to scroll and read through some of those. I'll highlight as I read so you can kind of see where I'm at. So I'm asking you to shop around local car lots, online car ads. You can use Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, CarMax.com, newspapers if you have newspapers, or actual print ads for cars if you want to. Find something 2 to 3 years old. It's not a must, but I want this to be as realistic as possible. And realistically, you might be somebody who wants a vintage car or a really old model of a certain car, but most of you are probably going to be looking or want to be able to find a car that's just a couple years old to drive eventually. So this assignment is not your dream car, your ultimate dream car. It's just what might you be driving while in college or right out of college. The cost of the third car you end up finding, so there's a series of 3 different cars I'm looking for. The cost of your third car, you're going to write on the blank marked goal at the top of the used car log. So this blank right here says goal. That's just the price of the third car. So you don't have to fill that out until you actually find that car. Then figure out how much you need to save per month for the next 20 months to reach that goal. So the parameters for this assignment, I'm asking you to assume that within the next 20 months, you're going to be buying this 2 to 3 year old car that you really wouldn't mind driving. Since you need something to drive between now and paying for this third car, I'm going to ask that you find 2 other cars that you could buy in the meantime. Start with a car around $1,500. Again, not a requirement. It doesn't have to be exactly $1,500, but again, realistically, if you haven't started saving for a car yet, or your parents are not paying for one for you, you don't have guardians who are going to pay for one for you, but you're on your own, chances are the majority of you don't have thousands of dollars saved towards a car. If you do, bravo. But I'm going to ask that you look for a car that's around $1,500. So if it's a little bit lower, that's fine. If it's a little bit higher, that's fine. But that will be the first car we use. Then I'm asking you to find something in the, sorry about that, the mid-range between that car and the one you're ultimately working towards. So first car around $1,500, third car is a car that you wouldn't mind driving within the next couple years. So we're finding one between $1,500 and whatever the price for your third car is. I don't really have a price set for this second or third car, but think realistically. I'm going to ask you to break down what you need to save each month to purchase these cars. So saving $1,200 a month to buy a car is pretty unrealistic. So just kind of keep that in mind. I'm asking you to assume that you would buy the second car after about 10 months of saving. So we'll see that how that plays out in just a moment in the blanks on the used car log. And this is kind of my ultimate goal, is that you see that the money used to buy the first 2 cars is not lost. So you'll sell the first car to buy the second, you'll sell the second to buy the third. And for the purposes of this assignment and real life, I'll talk about this in a second, you can assume that you'll sell each car for exactly what you paid for them. So the parameters for this assignment, you're buying a car, 10 months later selling it, buying a car, 10 months later selling it again. If you really do buy a car and just put normal wear and tear on it, don't get in car accidents, and don't drive 40,000 miles in a year, you can pretty much bank on being able to sell that car for pretty much what you paid for it, if not the exact same. My husband has had some interesting experiences with cars. He bought a Corvette 2 years ago, a C6 10-year-old Corvette, paid cash, drove it for a year, almost to the day. That just kind of happened that way. And when he sold it for actually about $500 more than he paid for it. Didn't do any modifications on it, didn't really do much with it. Just got a really good deal the first time around, found a motivated buyer the second time, and was just able to make a little bit of profit. So that was kind of cool. All right, so like I said, I have ads at the bottom that I'll upload this example to Moodle. So I'm not going to scroll back and forth each time just for the sake of time, but I'm going to fill out some of these blanks just as an example. So the first car that I found was a GMC Jimmy. So when we're talking make and model, GMC is who makes the car. The model is what specific GMC is it. The one that I found was actually 1998, pretty classic. And the ad online said it had 117,000 miles on it, which is a lot of miles, but not for 1998. This part right here is going to require some Googling on your part and some motivated, determined Googling. The retail value, what I'm asking for is in 1998 for this car, anyways. In 1998, how much was a GMC Jimmy selling for? Not how much is it selling for today, but at the time that it was brand new. So 1997, 1998, how much would you have paid? So what I have found is in my Google search, typing in the phrase sticker price. So I typed in 1998 GMC Jimmy sticker price. One of the websites I have the most luck with is autotrader.com. You can actually also enter the phrase auto trader in your Google search as well. But you may not find this initially. You might have to Google a couple times or refine your search or click through a couple different links. But what I found was in 1998, a GMC Jimmy was selling for somewhere between $24,800 and $34,000. So the range is because there were different model types with different options, but that was the range that it was selling for. The cash paid is what it's actually listed for. I think on your version, it might even say advertised price. That's exactly what I'm asking for. So this Jimmy is being advertised for $1,500, and I'm assuming for the parameters of this assignment that I'm going to sell it in 10 months for $1,500, just putting normal wear and tear. I am also asking you to assume for this assignment, this is probably the most unrealistic, not real life part of this, is that we are not haggling, we are not negotiating, we are going to pay exactly what they're asking for. However, in real life, I encourage you to negotiate, see if they're willing to take a little bit less. And if not, if they say, nope, $1,500 hard and fast, and you don't have $1,500 to pay, then that's not the car you should be purchasing. Move on. And sometimes if you say, okay, I'm not interested, they may change their mind. And if not, there's another car out there for you to find. So my second car that I found was a Jeep Cherokee. I actually really do like Jeep Cherokees. So I tried to look for cars that I actually do kind of like, recognizing that I might have to make a sacrifice and not drive a car I really love. But I did look for cars that I like SUVs. I like smaller SUVs, so I was kind of looking. So I found the Jimmy and the Jeep. The mileage on this particular one in the ad said 132,000 miles, and it was a 2007. So in 10 months, I'm upgrading from a 1998 to a 2007. If you notice, I noticed that the mileage, I actually have more miles on this newer Jeep. So just something to be aware of and think about and talk to the owners. Like what kind of miles were they? Were they driving to and from Georgia every weekend? Is it just highway miles? Is it city miles? Just to see what kind of wear and tear is on this car. I just realized I actually left a blank on this last part. So I'm going to come back here where it says net cost, which again is just the advertised price. So you'll see that number appear a couple times for each car. The retail value, again, I did some Googling, found Auto Trader again to be helpful here. And I found that in 2007, a Jeep Grand Cherokee or a Jeep Cherokee was selling for somewhere between $28,100 and $43,100, depending on the model and options. The cash paid, the list price for this car, the advertised price was $4,500, and I'm planning on selling it in 10 months for $4,500. So here we have some new blanks that I did not have on the previous because our situation is different. The ad price is the advertised price. So for the Jeep, that's $4,500. The trade-in is what I sold my last car for, what I paid for my last car. So that's $1,500, assuming that if I sell my GMC Jimmy, I'll get $1,500 out of that and be able to put that towards my new car. So I need to save for this Jeep Cherokee $3,000. The question here says, how much would you need to save per month for the next 10 months in order to purchase this car? Well, if I take $3,000 and divide by 10 months, that ends up being $300 a month. So my net cost for this car is the ad price minus the trade-in. So how much new money am I needing to save? That's this $3,000. So I'm really taking $1,500 from the previous and putting it towards this new vehicle. Now this third car that I found, I'm actually going to go back up to the very top where I'm filling in this goal. So the third car I found, the list or advertised price was $10,950 for, I fill in these blanks, it is a Kia Sorento. The mileage, it has 51,000 miles on it according to the ad, and it's a 2012. So again, upgrade in year. and a lot less miles than my previous cars. The retail value, again, Auto Trader helped me find this information. In 2007, a Kia Sorento was selling for somewhere between $21,200 and $34,800. The reason I'm asking you to find this retail value is I want you to see what time does to the value of a car. It really does depreciate fairly quickly, even if it's in great condition, not driven a lot, even low mileage. Cars just tend to depreciate fairly quickly. The cash paid is the advertised price, $10,950. And then these blanks are what we saw on the last. So my ad price, $10,950. And my trade-in, the price, not my net cost, sorry, my ad price for the previous vehicle, means I need to save for this new car $6,450. So my last couple blanks, how much would you need to save per month for the next 10 months? So I'm going to take $6,450 and divide by 10, which ends up being $645 a month. Now you might be thinking, right now, this definitely sounds like a lot of money if you don't have a regular income. But if $645 a month is not doable, then that means you aren't buying a new car in 10 months. Maybe you save for 20 months. Maybe you save for a year and a half. But this, again, just for an example, I just wanted to be able to provide a consistent timeline for everybody to use. So my net cost for this final car, my Kia Sorento, is just $6,450. That's how much new money I need to save because I'm assuming I'm going to use the trade-in for my previous vehicle. So here's our summary. The total advertised price for all three cars, that's the list price for all three. So I had my first was $1,500, my second was $4,500, and my third was $10,950. If I add those together, it's $16,950 worth of cars, worth of used cars. If I look at just the net cost, so what I paid in addition to the trade-in used previously, the first car I paid full price because I didn't have a trade-in at that point. For my second car, I had the $4,500 so minus the $1,500 trade-in, so that left me with having to only save $3,000. For my final car, I had $1,500 plus $3,000, which is $4,500 to put towards this new car. So I really only had to end up saving $6,450. And the net cost for all three cars was $10,950. This final question says, what do you notice about the net cost of all three cars? Well, the net cost, this number that I just filled in, is actually just the price of the final car. So it's the price of the third car. And this really is a way that you can upgrade vehicles. It doesn't have to be in a 10-month time span. It could be over 3 years. You save up and sell your current car, put it towards a new car, plus what you've saved. So save for 3 more years. And the goal for some of you isn't going to be to drive the best car I could ever drive or have the nicest car, but to upgrade every couple years. So you could cash flow a car and find yourself in a new to you vehicle every 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Some of you maybe even more, depending on how much you're able to save and put towards your vehicle. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out via email. I'll be checking my email over the next couple days, but I hope you enjoyed this assignment. I hope you find it realistic and doable, that it's something that you utilize this mindset of saving to pay cash for cars as you really start to look for vehicles of your own.